Tonight on First Alert Weather Extra, keep that umbrella on standby for the weekend. We're on your side with when we could see our best chance of rain and what we can expect for the start of next week.
Plus, as the fall colors continue to pop across the state, we're bringing you the latest on if we've reached the peak and how drought could be impacting the colors.
Live on your side, First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
Well, welcome into First Alert Weather Extra. Lauren and Tania here to get you through your Friday evening.
Yes. You know what, Lauren? I'm excited to see, well, I don't even know if the word excited is the right word.
Okay.
But you were talking about the fall colors as a little hint.
Uh-huh.
If we're at peak right now, I'm not happy.
I know. That is something we need to discuss. Because it's like, if this is the peak.
Where the colors at?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Like, I have a bone to peak with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that. I like those too.
It's like early November, so let's get it going here. So if we have to blame anyone, I like to blame the drought on all of my problems, Tania.
And that's not a bad thing to blame.
No, it's really not.
We are so dry right now. Let's take a look right here at the next big thing. You can see that drought monitor is showing extreme drought for a few places across central Alabama. You see that little red circle down there southwest, the bottom corner of your screen. If you can't see it, I'm about to point it out to you. It's this right here, boom, down in parts of Utah, Demopolis, that's green and extending into Hale County. That's the driest place across central Alabama right now. That's the only place where we're seeing extreme drought, but we have lots of areas dealing with severe drought now. I mean, look at Etowah County over in northwest central Alabama, Marion and Winston, North Pickens, southern Lamar County. It's just so dry out there, and we're not the only ones dealing with these very dry conditions. You can see that a lot of the U.S. has drought, and that is not us right here at home. So we can't be complaining when we get this wet weather, and that's really the next big thing that I want to break down. As far as rainfall totals over the next 7 days, we're seeing closer to an inch, if not slightly above an inch of rainfall for our western counties, and that's good because we just pointed out there's severe drought in Marion and Winston County. So you guys could be getting a little bit of wet weather to help alleviate those drought conditions, lessen the dry conditions that we're seeing. Areas to the east, closer to half of an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch of rain, and then 3/4 of an inch down south in areas southwest where we're seeing some of that extreme drought. But either way, we need the wet weather. This is not going to be enough rain over the next 7 days to bust the drought conditions. When we see extreme drought, it usually takes near 10 inches of rainfall, and that's only an inch and maybe an inch and a half. So over the next couple of days, we'll hold some widely scattered showers for your Saturday and your Sunday and some wet weather around for your Veterans Day on Monday. Looking dry Tuesday, so you do get a break from the wet weather, and then those rain chances increase for the second half of your Wednesday and into next Thursday. Briefly walking you through the next 24 hours, we could see a few showers throughout tonight. Otherwise, mainly dry. We'll see a better chance of rain early Saturday morning. Here we are at 7 a.m. We bring in Saturday late afternoon, seeing some pockets of heavy rainfall. Temperatures tomorrow warming into the 70s. But hey, that's the wet weather that we can't complain about, right? We're going to have more on rain chances over the next several days coming up in just a bit. But real quick, planning out your Saturday, you can see here that the best chance to avoid the wet weather is going to be earlier in the morning than it will be in the evening. But we've enjoyed seeing all your beautiful pictures that you guys have submitted through the First Alert Weather app. But have we reached the peak of those fall colors? Meteorologist Lauren Linehan brings the Weather Extra look.
Hey, Tania. Yeah, the thing is, we are at that time of the year where typically we should be having the peak, right? If we look at our fall foliage forecast map, you see that dark red here? That indicates today, on November 8th, we should be generally getting into that at peak territory or even past peak, but that's not the case, right? If you look outside, and as Tania was saying, like, who do we have a bone to pick with about why these fall colors are just kind of more muted this year? If we go forward in time, and I've actually got the wrong remote here, let's show you as we go forward in time. This is November 15th, showing, okay, by this time next week, we should be past the peak. And by the time we're getting a little closer to Thanksgiving, here we are November 22nd, still well past peak, right? Sometimes, though, I've noticed in most recent years, sometimes some of the most vibrant colors are leading right into Thanksgiving. And if we look at the average peak of fall color. This is kind of where we look more at the current climate, the current weather conditions that we've seen in recent years. And this shows, okay, across North Alabama into the higher elevations in East Alabama and even into parts of Central Alabama where you see that kind of beige color, that's where you can see the peak in early November. Where you see the tan, that's where it gets more into mid-November for the southern half of the state. But okay, so then we should be at the peak, right? Early November. Well, we should be. It just doesn't necessarily seem that way just yet. And we can blame the drought and the warm conditions for that. So I would say right now we're near peak. In about a week, 2 weeks, we should be at peak. And then as we get closer to Thanksgiving towards the end of the month, we'll be past the peak. There will still be some color on the trees, but it's just not been as vibrant as it normally is. And that is due in part to the fact that there hasn't been a lot of rain. So the leaves are really crunchy and they just don't have those vibrant colors to them because it's been so warm. But with the drought, a lot of the leaves are falling off of the trees. It's not like we've been getting these storm systems coming in, blowing them off. It's not like we're towards the end of fall and the leaves are falling. Some of them are already falling because it is so dry. So if you have a lot of leaves in your yard and you need to get some yard work done this weekend, Tania was mentioning we have that first alert for some rain chances this weekend, leading into Monday as well. So it's not going to be a washout Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. So just check in on the First Alert weather app to see if there's any rain around. We should be drier though as we get into Tuesday. Well, across the country, more than 50 million people across the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic are under a red flag warning today as gusty winds and an ongoing drought continues. It's bringing an enhanced risk of fire for the region, including places from Washington, D.C. to Boston. Philadelphia seeing no measurable rainfall in, get this, 40 days, breaking a record that hasn't been broken in 150 years. And New Jersey also experiencing these conditions as wildfires continue to burn across the state. There's at least 4 wildfires burning from Pinelands to the New York City suburbs. 3 of the fires were between 50 to 80% contained today. And the Englewood Cliffs fire is 30% contained. Thankfully, no homes were threatened by the fire. Fire conditions continue to be more hazardous today as the National Weather Service called for more gusty winds and low humidity.
Well, Lauren, we always get an updated drought monitor every Thursday, and I briefly showed our nation dealing with drought area-wide. Like, this is a problem all across the U.S. For most spots, we are dealing with some pretty dry conditions. We have extreme drought in parts of Rapid City, Billings, Montana, and even towards the Denver, Colorado area. And speaking of Colorado, this area, we pull up our snow machine, is actually under winter storm warnings. Not only are they under winter storm warnings, but some areas are under winter weather advisories. So can you believe it? We've been above average here, seeing those 80s, those 70s. Well, further to the west, they've got snow. And even though those snow totals are high, people are still getting the chance to get out and enjoy. Check out this video of Bryson and Dawson Bingle and their Pup River in Colorado Springs. Oh, I'm jealous. They received 7 inches of snow yesterday, but was only forecast to receive 1 to 4 inches. It is a winter wonderland. Early Christmas gift, I should say. Bring some snow over here, or maybe not. In 30 seconds, keeping the spirit of winter going, the holiday season is coming up, and that means it's that time for the annual Angel Tree program. We're live with Chief Meteorologist Wes White and taking a look at your upcoming weekend forecast right after the break.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Lenahan. As we look at First Alert AccuTrack tonight, I mean, man, October was a long month with no rains. It was almost unusual to see any green showing up here on the radar. Where we are seeing a little bit of rain tonight, or at least some light, measly rain showers, is across the southern half of the state. Some of those are trying to work their way into west central Alabama, I mean, it's pretty puny. You're like, that's it? That's what you're talking about around Tuscaloosa up towards Carrollton? Yeah, that's about it. Just a few sprinkles out there. But hey, if you're at a high school football game tonight, that could certainly be a nuisance. So have your rain gear around for the weekend. I'm not going to say you're going to need it all day long tonight. Certainly not Saturday or Sunday. But it's just finally we're in a more unsettled pattern. So we'll see that potential for better rain chances. Now for that sideline forecast for tonight, if you are going to some high school football games, generally it's going to be mostly cloudy, but just because there are some clouds around doesn't mean there's necessarily going to be rain. I will say though, it is warm outside, warm and muggy. That won't be changing for tonight. But hey, even though technically we are feeling like summer-like temperatures, we are getting closer to winter and Christmas time. We're now headed to Leeds for the kickoff of the Angel Tree program, joined now by Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt, who is there to kick it off tonight. Wes, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great out here, Lauren, and we're so excited to kick this off. And now is the time we can give back, really make this Christmas special for a child. It's the Angel Tree program and the Salvation Army. We're always excited to partner with you guys. We have Major Robert Lyle and Major Karen Lyle from the Salvation Army, along with the Chick-fil-A Moo Cow here. We've had everyone has stopped by today, and you can just see the excitement about kicking this off. You know, folks can stop by here at the River Chase Galleria to adopt an angel.
Absolutely. We have the angel trees up in both places right now. So from now until December 3rd, come on and pick out an angel of your choice and go shop for them and have a great time doing it.
Well, listen, you know, this is Weather Extra, so as always, we're going to give the Weather Extra here, but I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about what you do. Of course, Angel Tree, it's an incredible program, and it brings so much joy to kids all around the area, but you do so much with respect to weather disasters, weather impacts that happen, giving back to the community, helping those in need. Tell us a little bit about some of the projects. I know this year we've had Milton, Hurricane, Helene, some things that's been happening with you guys.
Well, the Salvation Army counts it a privilege to be able to go serve folks that are going through difficult times. And, so, you know, the Salvation Army is larger than just Birmingham. And when there's a need out there, Birmingham responds. And when there's a need here in Birmingham, the rest of the Salvation Army world responds to help us. So, you know, whether it's providing food, spiritual counseling, water, a place for them to stay, or, you know, just some encouragement, the Salvation Army is there because of the generosity of this community and communities just like Birmingham around the United States. We're blessed to be a people who can give back. We do what we do because the love of Christ compels us to do that. And what we believe is you can't outgive God. And so when we do the Angel Tree, when we do the ministries that we do at the Center of Hope, it's all because the love of Christ compels us to do that. And we appreciate the partnership of WBRC and Walmart and Chick-fil-A and the outlets and Galleria Mall. All of those allow us to do the most good, so thank you for that.
Well, we are certainly, it's a privilege for us to be a part of this. You know, you were talking about, Major Karen, the communication with Helene. That's one thing you and I were discussing, and just talking about how after the hurricane, after the floods, there was so much need, but there was such a challenge with respect to communication.
Absolutely. I think sometimes we throw out the old stuff too fast, and I think it came back on people. It just caught them by surprise, and then we realized the cell towers were down. We realized that internet was not capable at the time. So a lot of times people were going back to those handheld radios and ham radios to be able to communicate up in the mountains. So we are appreciative to all the folks that gathered around and helped us get out the word that there was clothing, food, shelter that was available to them during the disaster.
So there it is again. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that, the communication. And I know we talk about weather radios, it's old technology. I know the apps are a big thing right now. We have a WBRC weather app, but it's so important to have redundancy, right? Have multiple ways to get those alerts, whether it's radio, whether it's, you know, tuning us in on an app and having that weather radio. And we know right now, I know the weather has been, for us, not as active as other parts of the country, but we know that fall severe weather season is right around the corner. But listen, we certainly appreciate everything you guys do with respect to disaster response and helping folks. But of course, Angel Tree is something very special. It's so special when we go into to see the final day when all the presents are in the big warehouse. And it's just amazing to see how this community comes together every year, and I know we can do it again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Birmingham is a very caring community, and we know they're going to step up this year as well. So we're going to say thank you in advance.
And we have until December 3rd, right?
December the 3rd. You know, one of the greatest things is when you go to a disaster and you pull up and they say it's going to be okay, the Salvation Army's here. That's because of the relationships we have with so many people. So again, we just want to say thank you to your news station and to all those who help us do what we do.
And thank you for supporting the Salvation Army and, of course, supporting Angel Tree. We're going to wrap things up from here, but just remember, you can pick up an angel at the shops of Grand River, also at the Galleria in River Chase, and also at Chick-fil-A locations. You can drop off gifts there, right?
Absolutely. Every Chick-fil-A in this greater Birmingham area has put up a tree for us, so they can go right there as well.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. And again, I know it feels a little bit warm for this time of the year, but as Lauren and Tania were talking about, we do have some cooler weather in that long-range forecast. We'll have that coming up.
Well, still ahead on First Alert Weather Extra. This talk of Angel Tree has me dreaming of a white Christmas, or at least some cooler fall weather. So tonight we're living vicariously and exploring an icy world millions of miles away in this week's Moment of Science. We'll be right back.
Hey, okay, good. I thought I slid it back. Just want to make sure. Cool.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. Meteorologist Lauren Linehan here. So Tania and I have been talking about that first alert for rain chances this weekend. And yes, it's not going to be as warm this weekend, but it's still going to be warmer than average, still warmer than November, and still going to be pretty humid. But our next big thing is a front coming in by late next week, and that's going to bring a welcome fall cool down. Finally, should be feeling like it should be feeling this time of the year. So looking at that weekend forecast, we do have that possibility of some rain on Saturday and Sunday. No day is going to be a washout. You're not necessarily going to see rain every day, but there is going to be that chance at least. And you'll see morning staying pretty mild with temperatures in the 60s, generally mainly cloudy. So let's look at the future cast here. Tania showed us the next 24 hours. We'll go beyond that a little bit into Monday. So you'll see that off and on possibility of some showers for tomorrow. And then as we go into Sunday, still the possibility of some rain as well. But as far as Monday, there is the possibility of a few showers sticking around. We still want to watch Hurricane Rafael down in the Gulf of Mexico. It's not going to be an issue for us, but it could bring a higher rip current risk and some rough surf along the Gulf Coast. Eventually, it will drift into the Bay of Campeche and weaken as it runs into some wind shear and drier air. There is one more area we want to watch in the tropics. It has a low chance of development right now, but we want to keep an eye on the possibility of maybe an area of low pressure eventually developing over the next week that could maybe bring some tropical activity. So we'll keep an eye on things, but in the meantime, some better rain chances in the forecast and then tracking that cool down as we get into next week. So the heat isn't going to last forever, Tania.
It sure isn't. And that's the next big thing that I want to talk to people about and really show them beyond the 7-day. Let's take a look at those cooler temperatures that could be on the way as we move into late next week. Could we really see and feel like fall again? Because it's been so warm, right? Take a look at these temperatures next week, though. Some of our models are still trending pretty cool there, where we could see some morning temps early Friday morning, 5 a.m. next Friday, down into the 40s. In areas to our north, low 40s and maybe even some 30s in parts of Kentucky. It's looking cooler, but we have a battle to fight because looking 6 to 10 days out from now, our CPC outlook is still showing us above average conditions across the southeast. But we'll keep you up to date here, but boldly going where very few spacecraft have gone before. Dan Smith details NASA's latest mission to one of Jupiter's moons in your moment of science.
Ignition and liftoff. Liftoff of Falcon Heavy with Europa Clipper.
October 14th, 2024. After delays from Hurricane Milton, NASA's largest spacecraft ever lifts off from Kennedy Space Center on a 6-year journey to Jupiter, or at least one of its mysterious moons. Europa is slightly smaller than Earth's moon and is one of 95 known moons around the largest planet in our solar system. But it does have a thin atmosphere and, more importantly, a whole other saltwater world beneath the surface which could harbor life. As Dr. Wes Patterson puts it,
that ocean is more than 100 kilometers deep, much deeper than anything we've ever known here on Earth. And it's completely covered by an ice shell that's up to tens of kilometers thick. So that's very foreign to us.
As the spacecraft will sail past Europa as frequently as every 2 weeks, the mission's been likened to old clipper ships sailing on the trade routes, hence the name. Other missions have explored Europa in the past, like Juno in 2022, but not with this kind of instrumentation or resolution.
A camera, which we all know, but spectrometers to understand its composition, magnetometers to understand the magnetic field and what that tells us about the ocean.
Liquid water's not the only hidden feature here.
Well, welcome back in. We have some lovely pictures to show you. This one from Diane Benson, and it's just nature, guys.
That's just nature. That right there is just drought. Oh, now.
That is not a photo. What in the world is that?
Wow, that Norma Bryan, that is so good. It's giving AI. But, oh, look at this beautiful shot too.
Oh,
of
y'all
the
got me
rainbow.
scratching my head on TV.
It's fine. That was a bit of a head scratcher. I'm like, that one is so beautiful. I can't believe someone caught that with
I
their own
know.
camera.
That's gorgeous. Norma?
Yeah, Norma may have won Photo of the Year. If we had a contest for that, girl, you got it.
You won it. Well, you're also going to not really. Yeah, anyways. The weekend forecast looks wet. We'll have updates tonight, first at 9.